What if I told you the most shocking scandal in love and hip-hop? Atlanta history didn't come from Rasheeda, wasn't about Kirk's never-ending cheating drama, but from their own son. This isn't your usual scripted TV mess. This is real life, and it's wilder than anything a writer could come up with. Imagine headlines claiming that Rasheeda and Kirk Frost's son shot a well-known rapper, and somehow he's not only out of jail, but the case is closed. No trial, no drawn-out courtroom battle, just a judge calling it done. Most people in that situation would be facing years behind bars. So how did this young Frost walk away free? Did Kirk have connections? Was Rasheeda quietly paying for the best lawyers in town? Or was there something much deeper and darker going on? To understand it, you have to go back to the beginning. On one side, you have Kirk Frost, the son of reality TV's most famous hip-hop couple, a duo known for turning their relationship drama and family chaos into ratings gold. On the other side is a rapper named T-Hood, a man with more arrests than hits, and a history that makes him look like he was born to play the villain. Stuck between them was a situation that left one man dead, another man free, and an entire city debating if justice had been done, or if fame had once again tipped the scales. Hood's past made it hard to paint him as an innocent victim. His name had been linked to domestic violence cases that vanished when witnesses backed out. There were reports of child abuse, bar brawls, and street fights where he was quick to pull a weapon or throw a punch. This was the man Kai's sister, Kay Frost, had been dating. Neighbors later said Kay had been dealing with his violent temper for months, screaming matches that ended with police at the door, fights spilling out into the driveway, and enough tension for everyone to know it was toxic. People saw it, but stayed silent until the night everything boiled over. That night, Kai showed up to find his sister once again in a heated argument with T-Hood. Voices were raised, threats were flying, and some say physical blows were exchanged. Witnesses claim T-Hood had a weapon. Some said it was hidden in his waistband. Others said he flashed it around like a movie gangster. What happened next was quick. One moment it was shouting and chaos, the next, a gunshot. T-Hood fell, and nothing would be the same for the Frost family again. Here's the part that left people stunned. In Atlanta, a young black man with a gun involved in a fatal shooting almost never walks away without charges. Yet, in Kai's case, the district attorney ruled it self-defense. Just like that, the case was closed. No trial, no jury, no endless legal battle. The news spread fast online, and the reaction was immediate. Some people were furious, claiming if Kai wasn't Rasheeda's son, he'd be in jail. Others called it another example of celebrities getting away with things regular people couldn't. But when the details came out, the picture got more complicated. Police records showed texts from Kay to her friends saying, "He put his hands on me again. I can't take it." Neighbors told investigators about seeing T-Hood threaten her. Prosecutors brought up his long list of prior charges. It wasn't looking like a random shooting anymore. It was starting to look like a brother protecting his sister. That's why, according to the DA, the case wasn't worth pursuing. The evidence supported self-defense. Still, not everyone accepted that. While the police cleared Kai, T-Hood's family went public, calling it an injustice. His mother cried on Facebook Live, demanding Kai be jailed. His sisters posted stories accusing the Frosts of using fame and money to avoid accountability. Then came the GoFundMe page. It was supposed to raise money for T-Hood's funeral and legal help, but not long after, rumors started that the money wasn't going where it should. Screenshots began circulating of donations being refunded, posts being deleted, and even one of T-Hood's cousins accusing his family of turning his death into a payday. Social media split in two. Some defended Kai, saying any brother would have done the same thing to protect a sibling. Others swore the Frosts had played the system. Meanwhile, Rasheeda and Kirk stayed quiet online, still posting smiling photos and business updates like nothing had happened. Rasheeda's silence made people even more suspicious. This is someone known for clapping back at fans over much smaller issues, yet she had nothing to say about her son being at the center of a deadly shooting. Was she working with lawyers behind the scenes? Or saving it all for a carefully planned statement? Maybe even for the camera's next season? Then came the detail that kept the rumors alive. Claims that the police report had been edited. People said the first version of the report didn't mention self-defense at all. It just said an altercation happened and one person had died. But after lawyers entered the picture, the wording allegedly changed to fit the "stand your ground" defense. Was that coincidence? Or was someone trying to protect Kai? The real shock came when supposed leaked files began circulating online, hinting that there might be more layers to this story than anyone first imagined. For months, fans of love and hip-hop, Atlanta followed every update like it was a season finale. It felt like Kai's future could go either way at any moment. Prosecutors came out swinging. The media framed him as guilty before a trial even began, and social media added fuel with non-stop speculation. By the time the verdict approached, plenty of people had already written him off. Then, out of nowhere, the judge cleared him of every charge. In one move, everything flipped. This wasn't something that came out of thin air. Long before the ruling, tabloids had been running story after story. They painted Kai as reckless, surrounding himself with the wrong people, and spiraling toward disaster. Some even suggested the scandal could wreck not only his life, but the reputation his parents had spent years building. Suddenly, the Frost brand, spanning fashion, music, and reality TV, was under threat. But stepping inside the courtroom told a completely different story. The prosecutors talked like they had an airtight case. But when it came time to present it, things began falling apart. Witnesses couldn't keep their stories straight. Timelines contradicted one another. Details that once sounded damning lost weight when questioned. The image of Kai as a dangerous figure didn't hold up. Instead, he looked like a young man caught in chaos, reacting to a volatile moment rather than plotting anything. For Rasheeda, this ordeal stripped away the public image and left her as a mother fighting for her child. Known on TV as the boss, who juggles music, business, and family, she wasn't thinking about her brand here. Reports say she didn't miss a single hearing, her face showing a mix of determination and fear. She wanted her son home. Kirk, who's been dragged for years over his relationship missteps on the show, took on a role no one expected. The man often portrayed as careless stepped up as a father ready to go to war for his son. Insiders say he was deeply involved in the defense, pouring time, money, and focus into helping Kai's legal team dismantle the prosecution's case. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, public opinion was relentless. Memes mocked Kai, tweets accused the Frosts of buying their way out, and Instagram comment sections were brutal. The pressure could have split the family apart, but they closed ranks instead. They ignored the noise and kept their energy on the legal fight. When the verdict came, witnesses say the reaction was raw. Rasheeda cried openly, letting go of weeks of bottled tension. Kirk held Kai like he wasn't ready to let him out of his sight. The relief was more than just legal. It was the release of a constant fear that he might lose his freedom for good. Even with the win, whispers persisted. Some believe prosecutors rushed the case, aiming to make an example of Kai because of who his parents are. If that was the plan, it didn't work. The trial fell apart, and the backlash turned toward those who pushed it forward without solid footing. Naturally, talk has turned to whether the Frosts will let the cameras cover this chapter. They've never been shy about showing their personal lives on Love and Hip Hop, and this could easily become the show's most intense storyline. It has all the drama, family unity, high stakes, public judgment, and redemption. Viewers love that kind of arc, whether the family likes it or not. For Kai, though, being cleared doesn't erase what happened. The headlines, the accusations, and the online attacks leave marks. People close to him say he sees it as a turning point, an opportunity to choose better friends, focus on building something positive, and avoid situations that could drag him back into trouble. For Rasheeda, the trial served as a sharp reminder of her priorities. The businesses, the music, the show, none of it mattered more than her child's freedom. Fans have praised her for the strength she showed throughout, calling her one of the few reality stars who can keep her composure when everything's on the line. And Kirk? For once, the narrative wasn't about his mistakes as a partner, but his commitment as a father. He stayed by his son through the ugliest fight of his life, showing a side of himself the audience rarely sees. The Frosts may have won this battle, but the story isn't over. The experience left scars, and the pressure of fame means those wounds could be tested again. Whether they come out stronger or face new cracks remains to be seen. One thing is clear. This was one of the most unexpected turns in the Love and Hip Hop universe, and it changed how people see the Frost family. What started as a terrifying legal nightmare full of fear, sleepless nights, and a sense that the system was stacked against them has now shifted into something else entirely. A story of survival, strength, and a second chance. But anyone who's lived through something like this knows the real work begins when the headlines fade, the hashtags stop trending, and the cameras are turned off. For Rasheeda and Kirk, this wasn't just another Love and Hip Hop storyline to boost ratings. This was their child's future, their family name, and everything they'd built over the years hanging in the balance. They weren't just protecting a public image, they were protecting their son from a system that can be harsh and unforgiving, especially toward young Black men, even more so when those men happen to have a famous last name that invites extra scrutiny. Yes, the verdict brought relief, but that doesn't mean the emotional weight disappeared. The stress of wondering if your son will lose his freedom, the anger at how quickly people judge without knowing the facts, the helplessness when rumors drown out the truth. That kind of weight doesn't lift easily. Behind the scenes, people close to the family say Kirk Frost Jr. walked out of the ordeal changed. Shaken, yes, but also more aware of who really has his back. During the toughest days, he saw who called, who checked in, and who only came around when life was glamorous. That kind of clarity isn't easy to get, and according to those who know him, it's already shaping how he moves forward. Word is, he's now planning to use his experience and the platform that comes with his last name to speak out about justice reform, and the way young men like him are judged before they even get a chance to speak for themselves. Still, this was never just about the legal side. It was also about how the entertainment industry chews people up. Growing up as the child of reality TV veterans means living under a microscope. Every rumor spreads faster. Every small mistake gets amplified. And when you're innocent, it doesn't matter. People online still find a way to paint you as guilty, even after being cleared. Social media labeled him reckless, spoiled, or just another celebrity kid riding on his parents' fame. That online judgment left scars no courtroom victory could erase. When the verdict came, Rasheeda let her emotions show in a way fans don't often see. Normally polished and composed on TV, she went live on Instagram and struggled to keep her voice steady as she thanked her legal team, her supporters, and God for watching over her son. And then she made her boundaries clear. Say what you want about me, my marriage, our show, but don't ever come for my child. Period. That statement hit home for a lot of people. Viewers praised her for standing tall when it mattered most, not as a reality star, but as a mother. Kirk, the one many fans see as the troublemaker in the relationship, surprised a lot of people. Friends of the family say he was the voice of calm, constantly reminding everyone to be patient and trust the process. While Rasheeda was the emotional shield for her son, Kirk became the strategist, meeting with lawyers, keeping track of details, and making sure nothing was missed in the fight for Kai's freedom. It was a side of him the public rarely sees. Frost's legal team didn't shy away from pointing fingers either. They openly suggested that this case showed how law enforcement often jumps to conclusions when it comes to young men of color. They even hinted that they might take legal action against those who tried to frame the narrative before the facts were in. If that happens, this chapter could explode into an even bigger story. Meanwhile, Love and hip-hop producers are almost certainly watching all of this play out with interest. The Frosts have always been central to the show's drama, but this time the storyline isn't about cheating scandals or business rivalries, it's about a real-life fight for justice. If they choose to share it, viewers could see Kai trying to return to normal life, rebuild his name, and navigate the glare of fame after such public chaos. Of course, not everyone buys it. Some skeptics online insist that anything involving reality TV families should be taken with a grain of salt, hinting that maybe parts of the situation were played up for ratings. But people close to the Frosts shut that down, saying no parent would put their child through months of fear and court battles just to boost a show's storyline. One family friend summed it up: this was real life. Cameras or not, the pain was real. For now, Kai is keeping a low profile. He's cut down on going out, keeps his social circle small, and spends more time with the people who uplift him. There's talk that he's considering starting his own business, something separate from his parents', as a way to prove he's carving his own lane. But social media can be ruthless, and people have already warned him that one wrong step could undo everything he's fought to clear. One thing is undeniable: the case changed the Frost family in ways that go beyond TV. Rasheeda's image has shifted from reality star and businesswoman to a mother lion who will defend her children no matter the cost. Kirk, for all his past controversies, earned respect as a father who put everything aside to stand with his son. And Kai now has a story that's his own, one that's about more than being the Frost's son. It's about surviving public judgment, fighting for the truth, and walking away with his head held high. But the question is, what now? Freedom is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. Will Kai use this moment to create something meaningful? Maybe even turn his experience into a push for change in how young men are treated by the system? Will Rasheeda and Kirk turn their family's ordeal into a cause bigger than themselves? Or will the non-stop pressures of fame drag them back into the kind of chaos they've dealt with before? For now, the cameras might not be rolling, but the eyes of the public still are. This family has proven they can stand together when the storm hits. But the next chapter will show whether they can grow from it. If there's one thing we've learned from the Frosts, it's that their story never really ends when the credits roll. It just changes shape. And here's the truth: whether you believe justice was served or think there's more we haven't heard, this chapter in their lives will follow them for years. The trial might be over, but in the court of public opinion, the conversation is far from closed. If you've been following the Frost family, you know the drama has a way of finding them. The difference this time is that they've already faced one of the biggest challenges of their lives, and they walked away united. Whether the world cheers for them or doubts them, one thing is for sure: the next twist is only a matter of time. If you've been keeping up with this story, you already know things can flip in an instant, and trust me, you don't want to miss whatever comes next. So hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and stick around, because the next chapter in this saga could drop at any time, and you'll want to be the first to hear it.